started with a very disconnected operation with our customers. We had no idea what engines they were going to run, which then dialed down to what components they were going to need on any given day. So we started with Kanban. Kanban was great. The problem with Kanban was you have to monitor your levels, and one of the levels, or one of the inputs was how much do you need to have on hand. So our position was we wanted to have worst case scenario 1 day of inventory on hand. With 4 part numbers of an equipment rack, and they were running at that time 8 engines a day, I had to have 8 equipment racks of every part number ready. Worst case scenario being they run 1 model all day long and they need 8 of the single equipment racks. It did work well. We were lean. A lot of people thought huge improvement, great. But we all felt we could go even further, like 1 piece flow or synchronized production. So what we're doing now is the assembly line knows what they're going to run. They have the model all laid out. They know all the parts they're going to need. We ask them to give us that information. So with that, we can say, okay, this model is going to run A, B, C. They're going to need A part, B part, C part. Instead of having the inventory in a Kanban environment, we're now manufacturing in the order that the engines go down the line, with a little bit of a twist. So the raw parts are the same. They're here, they're in inventory. He's going to pull what he needs to bring it up here and run. But what we allow Antonio to do, and right now I'll use the current example, 3 engines a day. We could need part number A, then part number B, and then part number A again. At the machining operation, Antonio can make the decision to go ahead and run A and A together, and then B, or he could run B and then A and A. It saves the changeover, basically. But what Antonio will now do is this rack will hold 3 front covers. Antonio will now put them in the rack in the exact order that the line will need them. And then from this point forward, everything is in sequence. So there's a little bit of decision making here, but only in a 1-day window. He doesn't look at 2 days ahead, 3 days ahead. Just in the 1 day, he'll manage his production like that. We then put them in the rack, and away they go in the order. In a nutshell, since we've started doing 1-piece flow sequencing, we've reduced in WIP and raw component about $750,000 total just in this department. The idea being we push all of these improvements into the raw, and then we push these raw to the warehouse, and then the warehouse in turn will push back to the supplier. It takes a little bit of time, but in the end, overall in this location, I believe we're about $20 million in increased net working capital because of the reduction of inventory.